I'm sorry. I is just equal to the square root of negative 1. I squared is equal to negative 1 because the square root of negative 1 times the square root of negative 1 gives you negative 1, right? And then if I get to I to the third, I'm going to take out an I squared anyway. So I'm going to change the sign and I'll have an I left over. So I could write I could write I to the third, but I don't really think of it in terms of that. But fine, that's what it equals, but I'm not really going to use this. Whenever I get an I to the third, I'm just going to take out an I squared, so I can change the sign, and then I'll have one I left over. Okay? So really I to the third is equal to I squared times I. And I squared is negative 1, right? So that's all I'm thinking about here. Yeah. And then I to the fourth, you guys remember I to the fourth is just 1? Okay, so I to the fourth doesn't matter, right? I mean, I got one. Have you filled it out?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I squared. Remember, that's negative 1, so I'm going to say negative 2 to get rid of the I squared. Every time I save up to get 2 i's, I got a negative 1. So I just change the sign. I can't do anything with the I, so I just have 3i. And then here we are again. X to the third means I saved up for a negative sign, right? Plus 1 left over. So I'm going to make this a negative 4. And then there's an I left over. So every time I get 2, I just change the sign. I had 3, so there's 1 left over. You all see that? Okay, so 3 means change the sign and have 1 left over. Okay, and then we got I to the fifth. Oh my. There's an I to the fourth in there, right? And every time I get 4, that's really no effect at all. 1 times anything is still whatever it is. So I'm just going to say 2i. I don't even have to change the sign. When I get to I to the fourth, it's just positive 1. So I don't care about those 4. Minus 3i. It's a I squared, so all I'm going to do is change the sign so I have plus 2. Okay? Everybody see how I got that far? Is that clear? It's all based on changing the sign for the I squared. And in the case of I to the third, having 1 left over. Okay? So now let's, unfortunately we're not done yet. We've got to collect some things. Negative 2. And I got negative 3 and negative 4, that's negative 7i. Okay? And on the bottom, I have positive 2i and negative 3i, so that's negative I. And positive 2. Okay? So this is fine. I might be tempted to stop here, except I don't like I on the bottom. It's kind of like I is a negative square root of negative 1. And I don't want radicals on the bottom, remember? So I don't want i's on the bottom either. So I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. Remember, the conjugate is the same thing, only the second one is different sign. So I'm going to have negative I. Now instead of saying plus 2, I'm going to say minus 2. Hopefully you remember the conjugate. If I multiply by the conjugate, I don't get a middle term. That's the value of the conjugate. So, it's the way we can get rid of something we don't want. So we don't want this I. So if we do this, I squared is going to go away to a negative 1. And then I won't have a middle term, so I don't have to worry about I. So I did the same thing, negative I, only this time it's negative 2 instead of positive 2. If I did that to the bottom, I have to do the exact same thing to the top. Negative I, negative 2 to the top as well. So if I carry this out, I get a negative 2i. Negative 2 times negative I is positive 2i. The outside is negative 2 times negative 2, that's positive 4. The inside is negative times negative, so positive 7i squared. And the last term is negative 7 times negative 2, which is positive 14i. Okay, that's the top. We just had to take that for the top. Whatever we get, we don't care. The bottom, negative I times negative I is positive I squared. We have the outside is negative I times negative 2, so that's a positive 2i. The inside is 2 times negative I is negative 2i. We said they were going to cancel, and look, they're going to, right? Plus and negative. And we have a positive 2 and a negative 2, that's a negative 4. Okay, let's clean this up. All right, so.
Can you erase it?
I'm sorry? Oh, well, let's do it a better way than that. We've got this negative, this is going to be a negative, right? So I'm going to change that to a -7, because I squared makes me change the sign. So I have -7, +4, that's going to be a -3. I got a 2i and a 14i, so that's 16i, over, these guys cancel, right? Positive and negative, they're gone. This is going to be a -1, right? A -1 and a -4 have a -5. Okay? So, I guess I could leave it like that with the negative on the bottom. I don't really like the negative on the bottom. I could change it to be like this if I'd rather have a positive on the bottom. But it's the same thing.